Last week, when I was just doing my work as a software engineer, I encountered something that really worried me. A GitHub issue that described a problem that I think is going to occur more and more as AI gets adopted by developers and non-technical people. Let's read that issue together. I've actually printed it out here, and I just ruined the paper. Okay, so that didn't really go as expected, but I can still read the issue for you. Now, just for context, this was an issue created in the Bolt repository, and Bolt is a pretty good AI platform that you can use to build out your software with AI, sometimes autonomously. However, this issue has a very negative and kind of worrying sentiment, and it starts with the title, "I'm about to lose my mind." I purchased this system twice, but it keeps doing the same things to fix the issue, and all it does is consume credits. I took 2 painkillers. It is 6 a.m. here, and I'm struggling not to cry out of frustration. I have been developing a startup for 3 years, and there were times where I went days without eating. But I don't think I ever had such a difficult night. Am I doing something wrong? It can't even fix simple things, and when it does, it ends up breaking them again. All it does is consume credits. I'm about to lose my mind. Now, first of all, of course, I hope this person is doing well, but this is a really worrying issue to me because this kind of shows a couple of really big problems that we are seeing now that more and more people are adopting AI tools. From what I gather in this issue, this person is unable to critically assess what's wrong with their code on their own, and they are relying on the AI system to fix their problems for them. The problem is, when the AI system reaches its context limits or just its reasoning capabilities and it cannot fix the issues for them, they get stuck. And apparently, just interpreting from this issue text, all this user is doing is continuously just calling the AI in hopes that it will solve their problem. And what I find quite ironic about it is that this user says that the AI cannot even fix simple things. Well, if these things were simple, why couldn't you just fix them yourself, right? And I think I know the answer. The problem is that more and more AI tools are being adopted by either more junior developers or non-developers as a way to create software. Now, first of all, I have to say that I'm actually an advocate of this. I'm very progressive and I really want to see AI tools being used by everyone around the globe. The problem is, though, that sometimes these people may not actually take the effort to fundamentally understand what they're working on. For example, they might say to an AI tool, "Can you help me create an AI-based application?" For example, they might ask an AI tool to generate a web application for them without ever having written a single line of JavaScript themselves, or even just an HTML template for that matter. And to be honest, with a modern tool like Cursor or VS Code with Copilot, you can get pretty far with these prompts. You can definitely build up that web application. However, what are you going to do when the AI system hits its inevitable limit? If you haven't actually studied web development or any backend framework that your application needs, let alone database integration, how are you going to solve problems that AI cannot solve for you? This is definitely one of the root causes of this user's problem, and we will see this happen more and more now that a new generation of software developers are entering the market. You see, ChatGPT is already a couple of years old, and ever since then it's been used widely in software development, but it has also been used in educating the next generation of software developers. And I think it's a good thing that these developers are large language model native, that they know how to interact with the AI systems and to actually speed up the development with them. The problem is, there's definitely a subset of these students that have continuously relied on language models to solve all of their problems for them throughout the entirety of their university career. The problem with this is that they might not have actually learned the underlying concepts. And so when they start working in a professional setting and they either cannot use AI or they will use AI and they will run into its limitations, they will get stuck very quickly. Now, we've all been stuck. If you're watching this and you've been a software engineer for a couple of years, for example, you've been stuck with coding problems just like me. However, it's very important to understand in what way you get stuck. Yes, I've also probably had some all-nighters and maybe had to take a paracetamol once or twice because of a headache because I couldn't solve a problem. But that is very different from being completely tired and losing your mind because you keep pressing a restart button in the hopes that an AI system will solve your problem. Actually taking the mental effort to properly learn how programming actually works is super important. And I fear when I read these kinds of issues that this is a skill that the next generation of software developers might be missing. So where do we go from here? Well, I'm not a fan of outright banning AI. As I said before, I'm a huge fan of them and use them myself on a pretty much daily basis. However, I do think that we need to educate people on how these AI models work, how you can code together with these AI models in a proper way, ensuring that you still actually learn the concepts behind the code that you're pushing out there. And lastly, it's important for everyone to also understand how they can develop together with these AI systems, because I think that developers are going to be tasked more and more with implementing AI into existing solutions. And if they don't properly understand how to interact with the APIs for these AI models, then they will make some pretty grave mistakes in that department as well. With that being said, how am I going to help with this problem? Well, I've actually recently started an AI developer community that is free and open to everyone to join. We've got over 40 members already, and this community is hosted on the school platform. It's a very nice platform that can allow you to interact with other community members, but perhaps most importantly, actually follow curated content that I personally created to make you understand how AI models work. There's a lot to explore, including a completely free 1.5 hour course on mastering the fundamentals of working and developing with AI. If you want to prevent the headaches that this user had to go through, then I hope to see you in the community.